becoming that woman with self-love whilst also navigating the shit that life brings along the way. That feminist friend you all need for no BS self-love. This podcast is unlike no other. We will delve into the nitty-gritty parts of self-love, including spirituality, vulnerability, mindset, business, everything that allows you to see you are capable of living a life that is limitless, and that you are capable of allowing self-love to just open up endless possibilities that allow you to step into freedom for you and everything that you desire. My superpower is getting deep with women. It is going to those places that they hide away from and helping them turn their light on and understand that they are capable of anything and deserving of everything. So I hope you enjoy. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome to this podcast episode. This is a little bit off the cuff in terms of the subject I am choosing to talk about. And yeah, as I'm doing this episode, I've just came from a really deeply expansive group coaching call with Susie, where we done some freedom codes based around rejection and acceptance. And I just had like massive realizations. So I'm feeling very much like I'm riding a few waves at the minute. I'm feeling very introverted, observant of what's coming up, and a little bit tired because I feel like sometimes you do get that when you have like massive shifts or breakthroughs, which is not a bad thing, I guess. But yeah, this episode has been something that has been in my mind, I think, for the past week or so. And obviously I haven't uploaded an episode for around a week, just over a week, because everything that's been going on with the operation. And yeah, I didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it was in terms of recovery. But, you know, it was what it was. It is what it is. And we move. Now, I literally spent last week giving myself a lot of self-care, you know, really listening to my body and just doing the necessary things. So I didn't have the capacity or the emotionally and mentally to do a podcast episode, which is okay. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because it kind of links into the theme of what the podcast is this week. So one of the things I have been sharing, and I posted in the Freedom Experience last week, and I was speaking about this, and then it came up in the freedom call that we just done, and it is basically around juggling multiple plates at once and being able to observe and shed whilst also being open to receiving. So this has been, I don't know why it's been, but it's honestly been like a massive realization for me, and like this is actually what it's all about. Like, it's not about the things that I thought it was about. Like, this right now is really, really where the element of mastery lies. Like, this is where the deep level of self-awareness and self-understanding lies. And this is where we really, really spot the stories and move through them and rewrite them, whilst allowing our abundance to still be there and that essence of self-love to still be there. So in a way, like, our vibration to still be at a good level where we feel like we're moving forward. So last week for me was, it was difficult. And, you know, I was trying to manage a lot of stuff. Like, I was trying to manage the knock-on effect of the operation physically. Like, I was just so exhausted. But then also I was trying to manage the psychological impact, because I didn't expect it to have the impact it did, getting the operation again. And then obviously, you know, I have uni deadlines and I'm gearing toward the launch and just all of these things. And I was just like, how on earth do you manage all of these things? Like, how am I meant to work through? Just like, if we look at them as separate plates, okay, how am I meant to work through the plate of the operation physically? And then there's the other plate spinning of the psychological impact of the operation. How do we navigate all of these things and get to a space where we're just feeling good again? Because that's what often we think it's about, don't we? We think it's about when we have these moments of toughness, we process them, we get through them, and then we get back to feeling good again. So we can start having all the things that we want. We can do the routines, and, we can attract abundance, and we can chase our desires. It's in that good mode is where we are receptive to receiving all of these things. And Susie just asked me a question, and she was like, how are you managing all of the things? And it really made me go away and think. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know, but I feel like there's a part of it that it just is. Like, it is. Like, this is what it's all about. And then I spent a lot of time reflecting on that. Last time I had the operation and the infection was the month when I had a lot of success in my business. And it really just made me think for a minute, like, it's okay to just be sometimes with all of these multiple plates. But not in a sense where it feels like we're super, super overwhelmed and, we're managing way too much and we're on the verge of burnout. What I mean by managing all of these plates is managing the true experience of being human. Managing the true experience of navigating growth and expansion and chasing your desires and your dreams and becoming that woman with self-love, whilst also navigating the shit that life brings along the way, like the stress of life. And, it could be trauma for you, it could be heartbreak, it could be anything. Whilst also navigating that stuff. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And that's what I've realised. It doesn't have to be good or bad. We don't have to succumb to that low vibration of, oh my God, things are so tough for me at the minute, and I'm just going to not wallow in self-pity, because that for me doesn't feel like the peace. It doesn't feel like that's how I would describe it. But it's also very interesting that that's the first word that came to mind when I am talking in flow about this, that part of us that finds so much comfort in victim mode and self-sabotage mode and the low vibration mode, and just staying in that, and then completely cutting off any element of abundance or any element of growth or any element of progression. Like, what if we can do it all and have it all in a way that is what the mastery is about? That is what the true embodiment piece is about. That is what true self-love and self-awareness is about. Why can we not do all of the things? That's the really important piece. And that's what I'm essentially inviting you to think about from this podcast episode. I'm inviting you to think of, how does this translate into your life? Are you when you're listening to this, are you thinking, yeah, for me it is very much like I want to put the plates down, and then I only want to spin a certain caliber, I only want to spin certain plates at one time. And then when I'm feeling bad again, or when I'm feeling like I've dipped, I'll pick the other plates up that represent that, and I'll just spin them at the same time, and I put the positive ones down, because I can't manage the space for both. And why does the difficulties that life brings mean that we're shut off, or we have to be shut off, or we assume that we're shut off to receiving? Because we're not. We're open to receiving our desires. We're open to tapping into that energy of self-love. We're open to being that person that we desire to be at any point. And that's exactly what I was doing last week. And that's exactly what I was doing last time I had an operation. I was doing the things and also paying respect to the way that I was feeling internally and psychologically. And I've spoke about this in a previous podcast episode, we just lowered our expectations to meet the point that we're at, we just bring those expectations down of what we can do when we're in this space of, I don't want to say uncertainty, but in this space. And that really is the invitation, is just to think about that. You just always thinking self-love shows up in the good times, or your abundance is only resourceful in the moments where you feel connected and aligned, in the moments when you're doing all the things that you think you should be doing, not in the moments when you're not doing all the things that you're telling yourself you should be doing. Because is there ever going to become a point where you are not navigating something, or dealing with something, or processing something? I don't particularly think so. But I just think it's very interesting how we like to think that that's the only time we can tap into our greatness, into our beingness, into our wholeness. We live for those days where we step into our beingness and we're not afraid to shrink, or we're not afraid to be small. But we're totally capable of being whole in no matter how we're showing up. And that's the thing with self-love, isn't it? It's about understanding the essence of your wholeness, understanding that you are you, and everything that you're experiencing makes you you. Different sides, different elements, different things about you. And that concept of wholeness is something that really feels rich for me, like understanding all of these things make me whole. It's not just when I'm tuned in and tapped into that higher self that the possibilities become possible. So yeah, I just invite you to think about that. How you can navigate all the plates, but not in the sense, like I've said, of the burnout. What is your capacity to navigate everything? What is your capacity to receive when you have multiple plates spinning? And if if the pieces around it's not, well then why is it not? What's the story that's making you believe it's not? Because that's the story piece, isn't it? That's where we have to spot the story. What is it about it that's making you believe that it's not? And when you are in your moments where things aren't the best, what is the story playing out there? What is the self-sabotage? What is the thing that's making you retreat away from feeling good, doing good, being, and chasing your dreams and chasing your desires? We need to just drop this concept that the good times lead to good results and the bad times don't, because I always say it all the time, you have to learn to dance in the dark to appreciate the light. And I feel like that last week encapsulates that. This process that I'm trying to go through of mastering my own level of self-awareness is me dancing in the dark. And what I'm coming to realise is we never fully actually come out of the darkness. It may lift a little bit, but we're never out of it. Not fully. I don't feel like I'm fully out of it. Like grief, for example. Yes, in one way, I'm not consumed in the darkness, but there's still pieces of my time in the darkness that make me who I am, that show up from time to time, that remind me that they're there. But I dance with those elements. So, yes, the invitation is to do some journaling around that, and let me know. You can either drop me a DM or share it on Instagram. Let me know how you found this episode, and have a gorgeous, gorgeous day. If you're not aware, I have a free money masterclass, Worthy of Wealth, on Wednesday the 4th of August, 7 p.m. If you click the link in the show notes, it will take you to the waiting list, because there is a limited number of spots. It's going to be a juicy, juicy masterclass. Can't wait. Nothing like, no, not like any money masterclass out there, I don't think, because it's not just specifically on mindset. So yeah, have a gorgeous, gorgeous week. And if you do enjoy, please download, leave a review, share, and I shall speak to you soon.